Hello, folks. Good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. This is season 19 of Red Barn Radio, and tonight we welcome you to show number 730. A grunt from the cameraman. Here at Red Barn, we continue to keep our staff and our musical guests safe, adhering to state and local guidelines concerning cleanliness and personal protective equipment. So for now, you, the online viewers and radio listeners, are the Red Barn Radio audience with 100% of our attention. We're glad you're here with us. This evening, we bring to the Red Barn stage Darrin Hacquard. Though now living here in Lexington, Kentucky, Darrin paid his dues in West Virginia-based old-time string band, the Fox Hunt, with John R. Miller, whose members went on to perform with the Hackensaw Boys and Laura Mae Sox. Hey, welcome Darrin Hacquard to Red Barn Radio.
Thank you, Brad. She was born on the 13th of June. It was a Friday. She was baffled and bothered by the place she'd been set down. She was lucky with cards and she hung out in bars. So she hopped the first bus from town. She's gone crazy. And we can't find a good man among us to help track her down. Well, she's ended up dead or she's busted instead, picking herself off the ground. She's had her run-ins with the law, real backseat driver. She's blown through every boarding school Dad could afford. She's a bitter old pill and she cuts to kill any old time she gets bored. She's gone crazy. And we can't find a good man among us to help track her down. Well, she's ended up dead or she's busted instead, picking herself off the ground. Her mother was a torch singer there at a club in the city, and the men gathered around her to speak like a moth to the flame. Well, they loved her for an hour, then the liquor turned sour. It drove those poor boys insane. She's gone crazy. And we can't find a good man among us to help track her down. Well, she's ended up dead or she's busted instead, picking herself off the ground. Well, she's ended up dead or she's busted instead, picking herself off the ground. She's picking herself off the ground.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
This evening we're with Darrin Hacquard. What you're going to hear tonight are some
Good
straight-ahead,
evening,
honest
and welcome
songs
to
by
Red
a guy
Barn
who
Radio.
knows how to tell a
Wherever
story.
in the world you're
And
listening,
I guess
welcome
I'd have
to
to add,
Roots
if the stories were all about him, he may not be here to tell them. Darrin's got 2 albums of music, Signs and Wonders, that I know about, Signs and Wonders and Weights and Measures. I don't have too many friends I wouldn't recommend both of these albums to. They're great. We're so glad to have Darrin with us tonight on Red Barn Radio. Welcome him to the program.
I'm glad to be here. Should I launch into another one? Well, you've been listening to all those voices inside of your head. Make you want to open up a bottle of pills and just lay around in bed. And the cold black water coming rushing in over your head. You are beginning to think you might be better off dead. Hurricane season is coming down again. You better hold on what you can. Still waters run deep, and that's what the old folks always said. Water don't run much at all when it's frozen. You are beginning to count yourself as a human failure. You are beginning to think that it might be best to just call the whole thing off. Everywhere you're looking around you, it's nothing but stale here. And all you ever feel is nothing at all. Hurricane season, she's coming down again. You better hold on what you can. Still waters run deep, homie, that's what the old folks always said. Water don't run much at all when it's frozen. Some people die in a fiery automobile crash. Some people die in a nursing home. Some people die in jail. Some people die inside before they're ever really dead. And they live out their days in their own personal hell. Hurricane season, she's coming down again. You better hold on what you can. Still waters run deep, and that's what the old folks always said. Water don't run much at all when it's frozen. Water don't run much at all when it's frozen. Still waters don't run much at all. Thank you. All my old red-faced alcoholic friends still go out on the weekends, tell a joke or sing a song, wave at the wagon as it rolls along, talking loud and putting on a show, shoveling shit with a silver spade. They don't care about the debts they owe, they're only worried about the ones that they've paid. Drunken philosopher, what are you gonna do if insight were a currency? Man, we'd be owing you. Man, we'd be owing you. Dreaming at night of an untimely demise. He's punching the time clock by day, laying on the ground looking up at the sky after putting a 12-pack away. Inspiration can cause irrational behavior. Honey, it never looked good on camera. You were never anybody's savior. Ah, but man, I gotta hand it to you. Drunken philosopher, what are you gonna do if insight were a currency? Man, we'd be owing you. Man, we'd be owing you. Drunken philosopher, what are you gonna do if insight were a currency? Man, we'd be owing you. Man, we would be owing you. Man, we'd be owing you. Ooh. Baby, let me tell you, my daddy was a mean old drunk. He come home drinking and he'd give our mother a thump. He never knocked around on your Aunt Carolyn or me, but he sure could bring us to our knees. Daddy always had a way of playing the clown, chasing away his worry by fooling around. He never seemed to care too much for raising his family, but we always love it when he'd sing. Honey, you don't know what you are fooling with. I've seen that road before and it looks like hell. You know trouble, it's just a part of your family history. And history has a way of repeating itself. Before I was born, Dad served in the Second World War. I found pictures in a box on his closet floor. Daddy never opened up about the pain he felt inside. Sometimes you just read it between the lines. Honey, you don't know what you are fooling with. I've seen that road before and it looks like hell. You know trouble is just a part of your family history. And history has a way of repeating itself. Cigarettes killed the man before the bottle could. Mama should have killed him first, it would have served her good. Looking back, I can't quite say what kept her hanging on. Maybe she just liked to sing along. Honey, you don't know what you are fooling with. I've seen that road before and it looks like hell. You know trouble, it's just a part of your family history. And history has a way of repeating itself. Repeating itself. Oh, okay, yeah. So we did She's Gone was the first one, Hurricane Season, Drunken Philosopher, and Family History. And now we'll do a little bit of one I like to call Never Again. Yeah. Sitting in your car at the filling station, daylight's fading and we're sitting here waiting. Sun glow sweeping across the Southland. Trucks lined up at Bill's ice cream stand. It's just something about the season, sitting at a pump with no good reason, rolling on a highway headed nowhere. Send me a postcard when you get there. We got drunk and raised hell in the lawn of an old motel. I'll never forget when the morning came. Sat on the bank and waited for a train. I killed the bottle and hucked it to the tracks. Laughter filled the air like shattering glass. The train come roaring down the railroad. We closed our eyes and felt the wind blow like never before, like never before. Like never before, like never before. Shooting pool with a devilish hustler, trying to tell myself I could trust her. Crossing the line in an Asheville high-rise, city lights fading into sunrise. I told you I want to get married in Vegas. Told me you want to have a bunch of my babies. You give me a ribbon of delicate blue. I get so low when I think about you. Never again, oh, never again. Never again, oh, never again. Never again, oh, never again.
Hey, we are here with Darrin Hacquard tonight on Red Barn Radio. Darrin, it is great to have you here. We've talked for so long, it seems, about your visit, and now here we are.
Oh, yeah, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, and you brought with you Al White, who is an old friend of ours, because Al has been here with various ensembles at one time or another, including an ensemble with you. When you
correct,
were a
yes.
little, when you were like a little guy.
Oh, yeah. I hate to admit, time goes on, but that was a while ago. Yeah. Al still looks the same. I feel like I've aged, but
He is ageless. that Al White from Berea College, previously from Berea College, retired now. But hey, Darrin, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from the Hocking Hills of southeast Ohio, Rockbridge proper.
What are the Hocking Hills?
They are Appalachia sort of rambles around, and they're the foothills.
Okay.
But I guess what are they?
Well, I didn't mean we didn't have to get into like deep geography, but I was just kind of curious. I don't know that I'd ever heard of them before.
Oh no,
tonight.
it's really a place you should visit. It's a gorgeous area.
And it was the place where you learned to walk and went through your teen years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, all right.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was it a rural setting where you lived?
Rural, cliffs, caves, sandstone. A lot of sandstone. Interesting cliffs and caves, and yeah, it's rural.
All right. In small school, did you attend a small public school?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about your sort of musical geography as well. Did some of your music experience start in school, or did it start prior to school?
I would say my dad and my brother and my mom. My mom sang barbershop quartet, Sweet Adelines. So I grew up hearing her rehearse, and she couldn't read music, but she would listen. She would memorize her part on the tape, and she sang bass. So I grew up hearing her rehearse all these, Mr. Sandman, Bring Me a Dream.
Nice tunes.
And then my dad loved Willie Nelson and Christopherson and the Platters and oldies and the Beach Boys and the Beatles and
yeah. And I guess that stuff obviously shaped you. Do you feel like it did? Do you feel the presence of some of that music that you grew up with in music that you've played since then?
I would say so. Well, vocal training, I started, I was always in a chorus, or a choir, like a children's choir. So I had vocal training from a very early age.
Was this church, or was it like community singing groups?
It was just, sort of pastime.
Yeah. And so did you learn that you were an outstanding tenor? I mean, I hear you as a tenor. Were you a tenor? Did you sing bass when your voice was when you were in middle school and high school?
Well, I don't remember. I guess I've always sort of been in the middle, just whatever I need to do,
So you have pretty good range.
I don't know.
Most of the songs you're singing tonight, I hear just a really nice.
I don't
nice
mind the
smooth
bass
tenor.
part though, holding down the bass part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you can. Are you able to hear? Do you read music?
I don't.
Yeah. And so, but you're able to hear harmonies well, pretty well.
To a degree.
Huh. At what point did you? At what point did you start thinking about taking guitar playing seriously? Because we hear you playing. I mean, you do some neat stuff on the guitar. I know you're versatile on the instrument.
Well, I taught myself, to a point, learning Oasis songs or Wonderwall or the classics, and then a fella back in home showed me some, took me a little further, and then really when I went to Berea College, Al White, who is joining me today, he really showed me how to play like Mississippi John Hurt style finger picking, and how to flat pick a little bit in the Doc Watson, Norman Blake sort of realm, and Al really got me going with the next level of playing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And did that stuff come pretty easy to you, or did you find yourself really having to work at it?
well, Al always challenged me, and if I didn't get it right, he was none too happy. He really has a high standard.
Yeah.
So
Well, like those are kind of the best teachers, right?
yeah, exactly.
The ones that have the high standard and are consistently.
But I was
that
excited
way.
to learn and get better, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Did you go to Berea College with learning music and developing your talent in mind?
Well, I guess when you're 18, you just want to go to college and sort of hang out. But I guess,
My kids didn't really want to.
yeah, I don't know. I suppose my talent developed in spite of my best wishes to be not to not develop counter development.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah, or to be independent and free and all that.
Well, yeah. But anyway, I guess the music thing was not what I expected, but it really ended up being the best thing that I got out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And did
Yeah.
you stay there at Berea for 4 years?
Oh, it took me a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Probably about an easy 10.
Oh,
On
all
and
right.
off,
All
yeah.
right, good. So the long-term plan. So you
Yeah, the long-term plan.
you came and went. And what did you do sort of in between those times? And we learned that you played you somehow sort of ended up in West Virginia and connected with the music community there and the players there. How did that come to be?
Well, I went to Ireland with Al, and
With the Berea College
with the Berea,
ensembles.
the bluegrass ensemble.
Yeah.
And when our tour was over, which we had a fine tour of Southwest Ireland, I stuck around and I caught a bus to meet some friends that I had known from old time music festivals in West Virginia and Kentucky, and
Like Cliff Top and things
yeah,
like
exactly,
that. Yeah, right.
exactly. And I just saw they were playing, and I took a bus and showed up at their gig, and they said, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm just passing through." But yeah, they invited me to join the band because one of the members was leaving. He wanted to do something else, and they said, "Well, if you can learn how to play upright bass in a month, then you can be in the band." And I said, "I think I could probably hang it." So
And so, what band was this?
the Fox Hunt.
Okay, yeah. And did you play a role as a songwriter too in that group? Were you already writing songs at that point in time?
I had a couple, and since I only had a couple, I had to play them so much that I never want to play them again. Those early ones, but yeah, I guess they thought, well, he can write a country song, and so that was one more reason. But basically, with Al is really the guy that made me employable. If musicians are employable, if you could say that.
They can be.
Hardly. Narrowly.
So he made you employable. You mean as in?
Yeah, he taught me how to
the
play, and he
ropes,
taught
yeah.
me how to be in a band and work the mic, and
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, and that's what. And I recall those conversations with members of not only the Berea Bluegrass Ensemble, but also student ensembles that have come from Moorhead have expressed.
Oh,
that-
Moorhead has a fabulous program. yeah.
Right, and those players have expressed how valuable the experience was as an educational experience for the very reason that you point out, that
Yes.
it's about, like, what does it mean to be a performing audience, How do you command?
And the local honeys, who are good friends of mine, Linda in Montana.
Yeah.
They Moorhead did well by them, and likewise. But Professor Wells, Mr. Jesse.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Moorhead. But I guess we would like to keep the competitive spirit. I would be rooting for the Berea.
Well, absolutely, you should, as you should. Your alma
We
mater.
we went down to ETSU one time and we smoked their band. So.
Oh, excellent. So, just shut them out.
Oh yeah, we roasted them.
Excellent. Hey, folks, I am talking with Darrin Hacquard. He's our guest on Red Barn Radio this evening. I hope you're not just tuning in, but it's okay if you are. You can always go back and listen to the live stream, the archived live stream, and of course our syndicated radio broadcast to hear the whole program. This is a great night of wonderfully written songs, and we're so glad to have Darrin Hacquard with us. So welcome him back. Darrin Hacquard.
Al. Yeah, why don't we bring old Al White up here? Well, I didn't mean old. Sorry. Good old Al White. Yeah.
Right.
And the key of E.
Tell us about Staggering Angel. Is that the next tune we're going to play?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that song a little bit?
Well, my mother's dad, I never really got to meet him, but there's enough stories that it inspired me to write songs about him. So I guess this is about my mom and about her father.
All right. Darrin Hacquard.
E. Yeah. That's the one. Yep. Well, Papa's spitting kerosene and cussing out his toe, puffing on his mash and picking crow. That soldier's looking sickly and it might come down to blows. He was born 100 years ago. That ghost is thirsty and it don't know why. No one would pop a cork with him the day before he died, and he don't care. The man is dead. That staggering little angel's wet his bed. Go on with it, Al. Kentucky was a stain on my mother's wedding gown. Lord, it made her cringe to hear the sound. She was just a Portsmouth girl when Daddy laid her down like a relic in the dark and the bloody ground. That woman's crazy, and she loves Ron Rico. She lights her shots on fire before she chases them with Tampico. She's the one that makes me smile. That crooked grin will never fade from style. Now her half-brother, tell me who was he? They'd found him in a dumpster on the edge of New Orleans in the dead of winter. The man was frozen. They'd found him there with ketchup on his jeans. Papa's up in heaven getting tossed with Jesse James. I'm still sucking air and passing blame. Mom's down at the junk store spelling out her middle name, and the more things change, the more they stay the same. Try that Hockenbound out of G. Old Hockenbound. That one was called Staggering Angel, and this one's called Hockenbound. It's about being out and about and sort of missing home, you know? The Hockin Hills. Al, you've been there.
I love the Hockin
What do you
Hills.
got to say about it?
One of the prettiest places I've ever been there, Darrin, was the Hockin Hills. And most people outside of
Prettier,
Ohio...
prettier than West Texas?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd say so. I don't know if you've been to West Texas lately. It ain't all that pretty out there. I mean, unless you like the look of oil wells going up in... No, Hockin Hills are beautiful. It's a great place to be from, I would think. I mean, just look at what you got here, you know.
Well, I've been running high damn near since the first of the year. Now the leaves are gone and the frost is on the ground. And I wish that I could make my bed a place where I could lay my head. Wasn't on a stranger's couch in a stranger's town. And I'm going home, where the cold brown waters flow and the red tails fly. I'm going home. I wanna see my dog and my cats. I wanna wash my clothes, see my mom and dad, and all my good friends. Lord, I gotta get back home. I've seen a million people and I never learned their names. I seen the city skyline shining in the morning sun. You know, I kicked the door and it shot the lights out with nothing to show for all my nights out. If I could see the hills of home, look like a kingdom come. And I'm going home, where the cold brown waters flow and the red tails fly. I'm going home. I wanna see my dog and my cats. I wanna wash my clothes, see my mom and dad, and all my good friends. Lord, I gotta get back home. Why have I been away so long? Where have all my efforts gone? I have been tired and worn so long, and I'm going home. Well, I got my clothes in a garbage bag and my guitar's ready to go. But my transportation's looking like it won't be found. I throw on my boots and my old wool coat. I got a can of sardines and a pack of smokes. And I'll burn up that highway if I can get to the edge of town. And I'm going home, where the cold brown waters flow and the red tails fly. I'm going home. I wanna see my dog and my cats. I wanna wash my clothes, see my mom and dad, and all my good friends. Lord, I gotta get back home. Thanks, Al. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thank you, Darrin. Thanks for having me up. Good to get to
I'll
pick
give
with
you that check. I like to write my checks on the dashboard of the car after.
Right on the dashboard.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Then
so
do you give me the car?
It'll
or-
be in the mail.
Oh.
The check will be in the mail. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the car's worth less than the check. So
Then the check.
you don't want this car.
Well, but I did teach you how to be employable, evidently.
Oh, yes,
I didn't.
yes,
I
yes.
wasn't aware that I was doing it at the time, but I'm so glad.
I never asked that of you either.
No, I guess it's just one of the things.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you want to try to squeeze in a sub for Road Saints? Because we didn't really substitute Road Saints. We just bumped down to never again.
Oh,
Sunk down.
well,
Or would you like to just go ahead to half break?
what is it?
Want to just go ahead to our half for now?
Okay, sure.
All right, and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
All right. We're with Darrin Hacquard this evening on Red Barn Radio. I want to tell you about next week. We welcome outlaw country band Red Iron Push from Colorado. They will bring just about all the soul and grit a band can fit into a song, and I know you're going to enjoy them. So join us next week for Red Iron Push. Be sure to watch our live stream next week with Red Iron Push on the weekly program that's been bringing you roots music Southern style for nearly 20 years. That's Red Barn Radio. And now let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We come to you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the city of Lexington, Kentucky. And now please welcome back Darrin Hacquard to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you. This is called His Truth Marches On. In the Alzheimer's unit, he sits in his chair. He doesn't know what day it is or what he's doing there, but he's still got his pride and a twinkle in his eye, and he'd give you the shirt off his back if you take him for a ride down an old gravel lane on a warm fall day. And if you hand him a cold drink, he'll offer to pay, singing, "Oh, precious memories, where have they all flown?" But the music remains, and the words to a song. No recollection of all the good that he's done. Glory, glory, hallelujah, his truth marches on. He was born in the 20s, and he served in the war. Come home and had a few daughters, made his trade as a lawyer. If you try to inquire about the things that he's seen, the man won't say a word. Just chuckle and grin, singing, "Oh, precious memories, where have they all flown?" But the music remains, and the words to a song. No recollection of all the good that he's done. Glory, glory, hallelujah, his truth marches on. Glory, glory, hallelujah, his truth marches on. Thank you. Louise?
Oh, sure.
This one's called Louise. It's about another colorful story about my mother's parents. This is true, so I guess it'll speak for itself. But got a D out.
Got a D. Got it.
Louise, listen closely. I think I killed a man at the Wonder Bar on 3rd Street. We fought hand to hand. Go and wake the children. Run and grab your gown. Bring only what you must, dear. We must be leaving town. Load it all in the back of my truck. We'll drive east till the sun comes up. Taking those back roads with my pedal to the floor. Till we reach Baltimore. Darling, please forgive me. Drunken fools will brawl. Darling, please stay with me. I need you most of all. I'll get a job in a factory. Do my best for our family. Give you everything that money can provide. Please dry your eye. One love for our family, one love for our lives. One blood stains the pavement, one blood red sunrise. Thank you. You want to try that? You Were a Friend, Al?
Yeah.
This is somewhat autobiographical, but also a lot of people from Athens County, which is adjacent to Hocking County, were sort of an interesting blend of Grateful Dead, hippie / redneck, Southeast Ohio. Anyway, so I sort of wrote this about some of my friends, and then somewhat about myself. But anyway, it's called "You Were a Friend." Dreamer, busting out at the seams. You were a stronghold on the backwoods scene. You were a derelict, hungry and weathered, tripping your way through the lines that kept you tethered. You were delusional, scouring those dark places, rising up like a vision in those hallowed public spaces. You were an angel with a smoking gun. You were the one, man, you were the one. You were dumb luck, you were awestruck. You built it from the ground up, and then laughing burn it down. You were the muse, you were confused. You were born to lose, you were born to lose. Racer in a broke down van. You were a drummer in a punk rock band. You were a savior in a shattered land. You had a hand in the counter plan. You were a sentinel to the age of men. Man, you were a friend. You were dumb luck. You were awestruck. You built it from the ground up, and then laughing burn it down. You were the muse. You were confused. You were born to lose. You were born to lose. You were born to lose. You were born to lose.
All right, we are here with Darrin Hacquard, and on stage with Darrin is Mr. Al White. And Al, it's really nice to have you back again. I wasn't sure when I was going to see you again.
I didn't know either. Darrin just called about a week or so ago and asked if, among other things, if I'd do a picking with him here at Red Barn, and I said, absolutely, love to get back and pick with Darrin and see all y'all. So
well,
yeah,
good. Well, that's nice. So I wonder, before you step off the stage, I don't know if you are going to. Maybe you're going to stay on the stage for the rest of the show.
We'll see if I fall off here in a
we
minute,
would welcome that.
Okay.
But I'm wondering, do you have any stories you care to share? Darrin told some stories told about you as a teacher. Do you have some stories to share about Darrin that maybe, say 40 years from now when both me and you are gone and people are listening to this program, the Darrin Hacquard Red Barn Show? What are some of the stories that you might want to leave behind? Do you remember?
Most of them I couldn't tell. I couldn't possibly tell over the radio. Oh no! What
about bunked out on Ryan's the Gaelic Gopher? There's all kinds of stories.
Yeah. The guy that put all of our tours together had what you could call a lot of energy, and he had the biggest smile, and he was talking nonstop, so fast that not even the people in Ireland could understand him. But and so one time we were driving from one gig to another, and Darrin was very quiet, just sitting making notes on a little paper in the van there sitting behind me. And when we got there, he revealed his piece of art that he had written, the Gaelic Gopher, which was our guy with all the teeth. John Nyan, yeah, greatest guy in the world. I mean, in terms of being able to just put together a tour at the drop of a hat. So he's actually the reason we all toured Ireland. I just happened to be lucky enough to meet up with him early on back in the 90s. And but yeah, you never know what's going to come from Darrin's creativity.
So you guys did a bunch of traveling together, though.
Yeah,
you went to Japan, you went to Ireland, right?
Foreign tours, yeah. You said Japan twice, right?
Yeah, since it took me so long to complete my undergraduate, Al and I got to spend quite a bit of.
Yeah, most students, get one tour while they're there in 4 years, but Darrin, I think, had 4. That tells you how long it took him to get through college.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah,
I like that.
It worked well for Darrin. And every time he would need his job back, I would always have an opening and always want him.
And I appreciate that, Al.
Well, it's just, I guess we're both lucky in that way that I was always needing you by the time you wanted to come back, so it all worked great.
Thanks, Al.
It's been a pleasure, I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, great. So Darrin, last we spoke, you had just 2 songs. When we were talking last, you were at that place with back in West Virginia, and you said you had 2 old songs that you didn't really want to play anymore.
Oh, right.
They kept saying, yeah, he's a country songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now I know that you have at least 18 songs now, because I've seen 2 different albums of music that each have about 9 songs on them.
Yeah.
So, but at what point in time did you feel like your songwriting started to sort of open up and sort of go in what they call it, finding your voice? At what point did you feel like you were starting to find your voice as a songwriter?
Well, I did the songs about depression, and then the unrequited love. So I feel like I got those off my chest. And then I've said I don't want to write any more terribly depressing songs, really. So I guess John Prine and Tom T. Hall are big influences. But yeah, I guess, and I'll think of a line and I say, is that it's too trite? Or Mitch Hedberg said, he'll think of something funny in the middle of the night and convince himself that it's no good, so he doesn't have to get out of bed and write it down. But yeah, I don't know. I guess hopefully the best is yet to come. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I really like I like where you go with your tunes. So so one check for you is something trite, meaning has it been treated too many times before?
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing. And then what are some other sort of checks you have on songs? Like, for instance, do you like it when songs provide a surprise?
Most definitely.
Because I do. Yeah.
And I like rhymes that you wouldn't think of. I like to, absolutely. The element of surprise is, I think, a powerful writing tool.
Yeah. Is that rhyme that you wouldn't think of usually about finding a word that's not 2 words that are not typically paired?
Well, I'm not going to give away all my secrets,
okay.
but
I just
a near rhyme.
Can't blame me for trolling.
A
little
near
bit.
rhyme. Or think of the one that's obvious, and then try a little harder, and then you'll find something that's just clever. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to try to be clever if I can, but
Do you want to be? What about? So go back to really, truly. Some songwriters say that their worst enemy is trying to be clever.
Oh.
But that's not necessarily you. But I've heard that said before, and I think I know what that. I think I understood what they meant to say, which is that you can spend so much time thinking about, how can I make people raise their eyebrows, that you get away from the intention of the song.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I guess I'm always myself, and I'm never going to be anything that I'm not. So if I shoot a little too far into something that isn't really me, or being too exorbitant with my language or what I'm speaking about, then I always know that I'm not presenting myself in the truest sense of myself. So I don't think that I'll kind of rein it in if I'm going a little too far or not going far enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it feels to me like we spent some time talking on the phone this week, so I felt like we got to know each other a little bit there, and then before the show, and that sort of affirmed a feeling that I had, which is that the songs that I listen to of yours sound like Darrin having a conversation.
It's me, yeah.
And that's really pretty neat.
I haven't really written any fiction, you know. It's all just whatever. My life, yeah.
Yeah. What about the idea of themes that are universal? Like, do you consciously think, okay, I want to make sure that this has an appeal that's really large, so I can rein in a larger audience? Is that something that you ever find your brain working with?
Well, I you know, I like complex poetry, but I also like working man's poetry. So I always try to, like Tom T. Hall, you know, he was like Hemingway, you know. Tom T. Hall could pack a lot into something that someone that didn't, you know, go to MIT could understand what he was speaking about, but it's a lot packed in there. So, and
Yeah.
John Prine was great at that too, and others. But
Yeah, and if I can throw a compliment at you, you are too. I that's what I feel in your songs. Like up at the front, they're front loaded with a couple of lines that draw me into the character, and
Well,
I'm interested.
I appreciate that, Brad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wondered if you could talk in particular about a couple of tunes. There's just a couple of questions I had about tunes
Yeah.
that I listened to. I wasn't sure what was going on. So, Family History.
Yes.
A song I really enjoyed for a couple of reasons. The first reason was I got caught up in this idea, got lost in this idea that at the front end you're talking about, this is a dad talking to his daughter about his family, about her grandparents, right?
The song is my mother is telling me about her dad, who was a World War II vet and
Yes.
an abusive alcoholic kind of a guy,
Yes.
and also like funny in his way. But yeah, so it's my mother's advice to me is what the song is about.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. And this guy, that her husband, was a singer, right?
Well, baby, let me tell you, my daddy was a mean old drunk. That's my mom talking to me. Her dad was a mean old drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so the singer was who was the singer? So it was who could sing? Boy, you
He
said boy,
was a
could
singer.
sing.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
played.
right.
He loved to play old Shep. He played Red Foley songs and Hank Williams songs, and he was hilarious when he wanted to be, and then sometimes he wasn't. So.
Right. And I loved, and then the reason too why I just loved that song was that point you come to at the end is why did his wife stick around? And
Maybe she liked to sing along.
I
yeah.
just love that. That's a great moment. It answers the question, why do so many sort of okay marriages, continue on? And it's kind of because they just get used to singing the same song together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I have not yet been married, but Ralph Stanley said, "You get murdered and you get married. You get murdered, you go all at once. You get married, it sort of oozes out of you." Now that's I don't think that's funny.
Well,
But-
yes, it is. Al and I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we find it funny.
That's fine. I don't.
Luckily, not true in our case, right, Brad?
Absolutely
Oh, no,
not.
no.
But it is funny.
Did you do you find like when it comes to songwriting, you say you're just yourself? Do you find yourself going through periods that are sort of like the hurricane song? So hurricane season.
Yeah.
That was another song I love, and I want listeners to listen to the album version of that. You played the solo acoustic version of that, which which didn't have the hurricane in it. You know, I mean, what's so beautiful on the album is that, you know, here's this hurricane season song, and it kicks off with 2.5 minutes of instrumental, and I just love it. It's such just a cool surprise. You go like, oh wow, is this going to be a song that has any words to it?
Well, you know, I'm a deadhead, yeah, and in many ways. So yeah, I like some good psych rock.
Yeah. Well,
now Al might say.
Darrin, I guess I didn't raise you totally properly.
That ain't no part of
No,
nothing.
that ain't no part of nothing right there.
Yeah.
We don't go that way. The Bluegrass Boys, we don't.
The way and the light. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, the hurricane song, you know, starts off talking about like, you know, this sort of a noise in the head and all of that business. Do you have periods of time for you that are where there's just so much sort of dissonance that it's hard for you to focus and get songs written, or go out and play, perform, things like that? Do you have periods of time like that?
Yeah, I have, but yeah, I forced myself to not let that get in the way, and, you know, train yourself to yeah, it's a lot sometimes. Anxiety, depression, mania, bipolar, you know, the list goes on and on, but I think you can train yourself to not let that totally control your life. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's what I work on every day.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I've heard therapists talk about that idea that you know, you what you do is you learn to look at your feelings in sort of a sphere, and you have that ability to sort of see the other side of them. And that becomes sort of, in some ways, your way to disarm them. And I don't know if that's disarm them. Yeah. You know, and then there's the two wolves. You want to feed the good wolf or the bad wolf. Well, the negative thing can really put you down in the bad place, and then if you just say positive thoughts and be more positive and spend time.
I'm not a therapist.
And spend and spend time with other positive people like Al, you know. And
Hey, watch out.
well, no, I mean, I was, you know, it is helpful to be with other people who are positive.
Yeah,
and, you know,
Darrin
have that
was in our
ability.
band. He came with energy, with creativity. He just a powerful picker and singer, and it was just always a joy and a pleasure to work with Darrin. I never saw nothing but a kid that was ready to play music, and so showed up on time most of the time, man.
Most of the time.
Most of
on
the
time
time.
and in time.
So that's just a little. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Thanks. I kind of wonder. I'm thinking just in sort of in closing before we get back to your music. I love the energy in your recordings in both of the albums, and I had so much fun listening to both of them. One I was listening to in the car, and it was, at first the traffic was bothering me, and then the music just helped me sort of. I felt like my car just rose up above the traffic, and I just was all of a sudden home, and it was a nice feeling. But I like all the guitars in your recordings. I like all the fiddle. I heard you doing some stuff with some horns. I heard some saxophone today, I think. Do you like to experiment with sort of a lot of different sounds in recordings? And do you imagine yourself, you know, as you continue writing songs and recording music, do you imagine yourself continuing to sort of diversify the sort of sonic offerings of your music?
Well, I would say, yeah, nothing's out of bounds. I'm not really like a huge techno guy, or I love, you know, I'm not gonna make a rap album, I don't think, but I, you know, I respect all kinds of different music, but I wonder sometimes if I'm getting too far away from the root of the way and the light of the traditional music. I care a lot about traditional Appalachian music.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really also love the band and want to hear that organ and be playful with production, or, you know, I wouldn't say I'm going to make a Kraftwerk kind of a German. I mean, who knows what I'll do, but I always think, am I getting too far away from what my core interest is, which is really traditional Appalachian music.
Well, I mean, that's all there. It's very much at the heart of what I hear, and it's a great sound. And what a great thing it's been for us to have you on the program tonight, Darrin Hacquard and Al. Wonderful again to see you. I'm glad the music isn't all over. You have a couple more songs to play before we wrap up. So let's welcome back Darrin Hacquard to Red Barn Radio.
You can. How's about G?
Oh, G's great.
I went up to the mountain, and the mountain said, rest in me. You gonna rest your weary head on eternity. I went down to the river, and the river said it all melts away, and you're not gonna take it with you when you leave. I keep on doing all the things I ought to be doing. Lady Luck keeps coughing me out on her heavenly shore. Just when I think things couldn't get any worse, sun shines down on my face just a little bit warmer. I went up to the mountain, and the mountain said, rest in me. You're gonna rest your weary head on eternity. I went down to the river, and the river said it all melts away, and you're not gonna take it with you when you leave. Sometimes I wish all my friends could live in the very same town. We cook dinner, play music, drink beers, and hang out all the time. Sometimes I wish that I live in a goddamn cave, a place where no one could ever know my mind. Sometimes I fantasize about driving my car off of a bridge and either breaking my neck or drowning in that water below. But you know what, Al? Then there'd be no more road trips, and my car, she'd be rendered valueless.
And my
No
check.
more cheap motels or gas station coffees to go. I went up to the mountain, and the mountain said, rest in me. You're gonna rest your weary head on eternity. I went down to the river, and the river said it all melts away, and you're not gonna take it with you when you leave. Taking a good look around, and the scene looks pretty bleak. I'm wondering, how does a good man make his way in this world? Sometimes I'm shocked by the beauty and the mystique in And as a good friend once said, to live and to breathe is to toil. I went up to the mountain, and the mountain said, rest in me. You're gonna rest your weary head on eternity. I went down to the river, and the river said it all melts away, and you're not gonna take it with you when you leave. No, you're not gonna take it with you when you leave. No, you're never gonna take it with you when you leave.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Al.
Good one, Darrin. Good one.
Thank you for joining me.
That was a pleasure. Should I, leave now?
No.
No, okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
We couple, two.
Dos amigos.
Yeah. Well.
That sound good?
Sure. I can't kick Al off the stage.
You can.
I wouldn't dream of doing it.
Heard his best there.
How's about going back to E?
I love that key of E. That's a wonderful key.
Shout out to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Al, I don't know if you've heard this, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, good. I look forward to it.
At the Super 8 Motel, Carlisle, PA, listening to the big trucks whine. The dog days get thin at 3 a.m., almost as thin as my last stack of dimes. I got a 10 o'clock date with the magistrate. He's gonna add to my list of credentials. He's trying to draw blood from a half ounce of bud, singing, young man, you had such potential. And the hard times are getting harder, working harder, not smarter. And the bottom's getting deeper. If there's one thing I've learned, when you find it, they're gonna keep you there. Drove up this morning from the Tigard Valley. I spent 3 restless nights in the regional jail, praying to the sun that the AAA bond would take 10% on a $1,000 bail. Sometimes I drive my car to social fairs. Sometimes it bottoms out on the courthouse stairs. And sometimes I feel like nobody owns me until I'm staring at a brick wall eating low-grade bologna. And the hard times are getting harder, working harder, not smarter. And the bottom's getting deeper. If there's one thing I've learned, when you find it, they're gonna keep you there. Country owes its ass to the working class. Sometimes they buy drugs you can't sell at the store, and then their aches and pains turn to ball and chains. And when your engine blows up, they won't fix it anymore. When a drunkard swerves, justice is served. Some people receive it and some people earn it. say a prayer for the law. He'll save us all from the marauders, the killers, and the thieves. When a system is flawed, say a prayer for us all, that a man who's in trouble can get what he needs. And the hard times are getting harder. I'm working harder, not smarter. And the bottom's getting deeper. If there's one thing I've learned, when you find it, they're gonna keep you there. If there's one thing I've learned, when you find it, they're gonna keep you there. Thank you.
Are there any requests from the audience? Let's see. It's so dark I can't.
Roman candle and one, and then a.
Let's do Roman Candle as the encore. Let's do the end of the show now. And skip Will the Circle.
Shall I?
To my script.
Yes. Right up, please.
This one's out of D, Al.
Okay.
We would like to thank Darrin Hacquard for.
Let's take that again from there, please. Stand by. And
We would like to thank Darrin Hacquard for being with us this evening. We also thank our volunteers and staff for their help in making our production happen each and every week. Thank you all for listening to our webcast, watching us on YouTube and Twitch, and those listening to us on the Red Barn network of stations and around the world. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, be sure to check out Red Barn TV, our weekly program of music now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. We thank LexArts President and CEO Amy Sweetall for helping to make the production of Red Barn Radio possible. Our website has updates and further information on all of our guests in our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. And now, folks, once again, please welcome back Darrin Hacquard to the Red Barn stage.
Here's a song by a fellow from my neck of the woods named Mike Elliott, and he's been a big influence on me, and this one's called Roman Candle. 100 miles per hour down the mountain, I'm riding the tailgate into town. You stuck your head in on everywhere, and you threw your soul around. And you took out a policy on a typewriter, man, you were guaranteed to be alone. And you took up residency in a dingy little shack, and you insisted to everyone that it was your home. Teach me how to use my heart. My Roman candle just lit up the dark. The world is in swing, and it's gonna bring you up above the clouds. You see endless veins of junky waters, you see people swimming and you see people drown. And like a Romanian acrobat in an Olympic battle, you flip round and round. And I often wonder, and I can't help but wonder, if you're ever gonna come down. Teach me how to use my Don't ever let anyone get in your way. Don't you ever stop dreaming. But do you have to go and do you have to stay so very, very far away? Teach me how to use my heart. My Roman candle, she just lit up the dark. Teach me how to use my heart. My Roman candle, she just lit up the dark.
All right.
You showed me that chord.
Well, that's all for our show for this week. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube and Twitch, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern in North America, and archived performances on Spotify and video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to check out all of our social media for updates to our upcoming schedules and more information on our program. And now from all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, it is our hope that you have a terrific week. Keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.